Maestro, Giordano Bellincampi, here we are again. So, when I think of coming to the opera, I know that for a lot of people, opera can seem unapproachable, or maybe they just don't know if it's for them. And I think the thing that I think of is that both of us, everyone on stage today, there was a time in our lives where we had never heard an opera.
Yes.
It's like, I wouldn't buy tickets to a Taylor Swift concert if I hadn't heard Taylor Swift, So I understand that. And I think what I'd really say to people that aren't sure, haven't been to the opera before, is that, first off, just, that's okay. There's a lot that's going on.
Yes.
It may be in a foreign language, and that's okay because we're going to have the subtitles above.
Yes.
So for the entire opera, you can follow along with it. And then that brings you to the familiarity. And, if it was me and I was going to go hear this opera for the first time, I would certainly go on Spotify or YouTube and start familiarizing myself with, the feel of the music, just kind of the genre. But I think the most important thing kind of coming into these sorts of things is understanding the story.
Yeah.
Next Saturday, July 8th, we're doing Korngold's Tote Stadt.
Yeah.
So I am here with you because I feel like you could be a great guide for someone who has never heard of this story and is unsure about coming. Tell me the story of Die Tote Stadt.
Yes, and I'm happy to do so. But first, I would like to say I completely agree. It is difficult to imagine how it is to go to an opera for the first time. But it's also because there are many different kind of operas. We have many stereotypes about someone with the spear and the horn, singing for hours the same line, or a soprano that goes very, very high notes all the time and we don't understand anything. There are many different kind of operas. This kind of opera is linked to a tradition that is actually very, very modern and speaks to a lot of people today, because it is much closer to a film or a musical, if you want.
Yeah.
Because it's packed with action. There are things that are happening all the time. There's a lot of very, very colorful music. So the story is basically, on the surface, a simple story. There's this man called Paul. He's lost his wife, Marie. She's been dead for several years. He has huge difficulties in coming on his life. He has a whole room in his apartment which is a shrine for Marie. He has a portrait of her. He even has some of her hair. He has kept some of her shawl, her clothes, her dress, everything. And he lives in the past. And suddenly he sees another woman and is attracted by her, especially because she reminds him of Marie. He almost thinks that he sees her again. He has a good friend, Frank. They're talking about this. Frank is surprised by the fact that suddenly there's some life in him and he's happy about this. Paul meets with Marietta. She's called Marietta, this other woman. It develops into a situation where he really thinks that he is with his wife, Marie. And the next thing that happens is that he goes into a kind of a nightmare world. He hears Marie talk to him as a ghost and say, "We will always be together, you will always be true to me." And he lives through a night of either crazy vision or nowadays we would say kind of psychosis, probably, which is not uncommon if you are in a very, very traumatic situation, which grief can be. You know? Paul is not crazy. He's just a normal guy like any one of us, but his grief is so strong. So he kind of relives a whole situation, and it ends with Marietta. I will not tell all of the details of that because this is the wonderful thing about going to the opera, that you can actually live through that. But what happens at the end, and that is the key, is that he realizes that he has to go on with his life, that he can still love Marie, who passed away, but still can go on with his own life and experience love and feelings and happiness again. And it has this incredible arch of drama, which I think appeals everyone because it is so strong and it is so modern. And I have to tell you, many times we play music and we feel that it makes a big difference, and we are also excited about it, and it's a great night, and then we go home, and the next day daily life comes. 10 years ago, I was running the opera company in Denmark, and we did the first performance of the Tote Stadt in Denmark ever, like we're doing the first one in New Zealand this year. A good colleague of mine conducted the performances. It was a huge success, it was great, people were really happy, and we were all really happy. 4 months later or something, a gentleman comes to the office with a bottle of wine, knocks on the door, and I'd never seen him before, and he tells me, I just want to tell you, I was at the Tote Stadt. I lost my wife some years ago. 1 month after the opera, I realized that had helped me to get through. The whole voyage of Paul had helped me to understand myself better, and I found a new girlfriend. Wow. And he gave me a bottle of wine, and I was just, I was just crying. I was just thinking, okay, this is why we do opera,
God, yeah.
It really makes a difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's what's so interesting is when in a production like this that is so large in scale, at the core, it is just human.
It's absolutely human. This is about, and this is what opera can do, probably more than anything else, because it has this mixture of the words and the music. So you have something that is concrete, we can understand, we can read the words they sing, but we can also sense the emotional atmosphere of the music. And basically, this is about accepting ourselves, accepting our doubts, accepting the fact that we can have very, very strong emotions, and we have to deal with them, and we have to go on, and life is beautiful anyway, even when it's most terrible. Yeah. And in that sense, the Tote Stadt is really, really a masterpiece. Yeah. All that said, it's also a very, very colorful, strong opera, which you can experience at many, many, many levels.
Yeah, Maestro, thank you for sharing
Thank you.
that story. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And if you haven't already, July 8th, 7 p.m., Die Tote Stadt here at the Auckland Town Hall. Get your tickets at apo.co.nz. Thank you, Maestro.
Thank you.